Simone Haenen, good morning and thank you for joining Open Democracy for your interview at the World Forum for Democracy 2016. You are a city councillor in the Netherlands and you describe yourself as an educational activist.
I was a student in a democratic school since the age of 14. And in this democratic school you have full responsibility and equality and democracy. And you have an equal vote with the adults in this school and concerning all decisions that have impact on the school. And also there are no coerced lessons, classes, tests, exams. This way you are completely free to follow your interests, but also see what is needed in a community and in what way you can contribute to this community. And it's kind of the same that I'm doing now, because I am seeing what I like to do and doing things that I like to do, and I see things that I feel like I should contribute to the world, and I also do these things. So to me, the way I was brought up in the democratic school represents how I behave myself in life right now. This doesn't mean that I am perfect, because I have a lot of struggles. I have a hard time saying no, and sometimes I don't know where I want to go, and I'm just a young girl of 26 years old. But still, yeah, I do feel strong in a way.
You feel that you were prepared by your education for making the choices that you want to pursue.
Yes, yeah. And also feeling the freedom and understanding that we agree on things as a society, as a country, and these things, they're not set in stone. They're something that you have an influence on, even if you're not. I'm a city councillor, but if you're not a city councillor, you also have influence on these things. But people don't know that they have actual influence on everything that is organized also in a country. So if you really don't feel like something is working, you can do something about it by speaking up, or by, telling people what's happening, why it's not working, and so you don't feel limited, and you see possibilities everywhere, and that's something I like.
Do you spend quite a lot of time as a city councillor encouraging the people that you represent to talk to you and to contribute to the society?
Yeah, I try to do that as much as possible. Also very active with my education work, so I spend like 15 hours a week on my city council job, and I call with a lot of people. Right now I'm also interviewing young people to just ask, what do you know about your city and the way it is run? What do you know about country? What do you know about politics? And do you feel informed by your municipality? And these things they don't know. They have no idea.
Are they surprised when they hear from you?
Yeah. Usually they're surprised, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think has to be changed in education that the people can learn more about democracy and how it comes in a way that is useful?
Yeah, in education right now we have a hierarchical relationship with the teacher and the student. And for me, when I was in traditional school, I felt that smaller kids were stupid, that my teacher was my boss, that people working in jobs were super cool, and a director of a big company was like an unreachable god to me. And because we have equality in the democratic school, I could relate on an equal level to every person, young or old, or doesn't matter what their background is. And this way I suddenly felt like everything was reachable, because you know that they're just people, and they're doing jobs, and they're having fun, or they're having a shitty time. And to realize this, it just frees you in a way.
And what's your personal goal and your goal for education in general?
Well, personal goal, of course, is equality, is every person feels that they matter. That's something that I really value. everyone has a voice and everyone's voice matters. And I think that equality and democracy in education will make sure that there's democracy and equality in society. And of course, the end goal of all of us, I think, is world peace. But I don't think
that
that's.
Be the day after.
I don't think that's reachable in my lifetime, or maybe it is. I don't know. And yeah, what is world peace? I don't know. We just want to live together in a way that, everyone can be.
Mm-hmm. So this has been a very busy conference for you, and you've been involved in quite a few sessions as discussant and as a storyteller. Can you tell me one or two highlights from these last 2 days for you?
So I really liked I was an discussant in a lab number 3, I think, about...
This was about the experiments in the Ukraine, the
Wergeland
National
Center
Program for Democratic Schools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What did you
I
think
so
of
much
that?
yesterday.
What did you think of that?
Well, what I found interesting was we were sitting at this table, and I'm talking about equality in society and equality in education.
Yes.
And we had the mayor of Hamamatsu City in Japan, and he was talking about immigration, about integrating people, migrants, into the Japanese community.
Yes.
And the Wergeland Center and the project in Ukraine were talking about education, about trying these democratic practices in education, creating more equality in education. So I was sitting between my equality in society and my equality in education. And that was a really interesting overlap to see in that lab.
Yes, that's a very good point. And one other.
One other. I visited lab 11 about global citizenship education.
Yes.
And I really liked a lovely debate. There was also political debate.
There was the Ukrainian-Russian
Russian
going on, wasn't
thing.
there?
Yes, and it was just really interesting to see this, and also to hear the story of the UNRWA.
Yes.
And
UNRWA.
Yes, this Palestinian refugee schools. Yes. And the way they organized that, and it sounded really well. And I also like this contrast between Palestinian refugees and youth festival in Russia, and these two in one session was just really a lively debate. And one guy from the audience said, why is this youth festival in Russia? Because it's about democracy and equality, and Russia is not respecting this. And this was a Ukrainian guy that said this. And then I thought, do you want to exclude countries from activities like this that promote democracy and equality if they are not acting upon the human rights yet? Do you exclude them from these kinds of activities? And I think no, maybe Russia is not there, but there are many countries all over the world that are not respecting the human rights and the things that we stand for.
Yes, and it's rather extraordinary that at home we have a professor at the LSE, Mary Kaldor, who heads up a Centre for Global Security. And she always says it's time now to move towards global citizenship. And that, you can imagine forces going around the world helping with natural disasters, but helping people anywhere. And it seems to me extraordinary, though, that this global citizenship education program should be initiated with Palestinian refugees who can't go anywhere, have no country, and have no way of encountering the other when they're taught these values of human rights, except for this extraordinary program where they are introduced to people across the world over the internet.
Yes.
So this is another of those paradoxes, isn't it, about moving forward and yet taking into account the real problems in society.
I think you should dream, but also look at reality and see what you can do in reality to achieve a dream.
And do you think the conference has done well on the whole about this? And what is the next step for you going away from here?
I think the conference has done well, but at the same time, you always feel like it was not enough because it's a lot of people together, a lot of talking and not creating things together. So maybe next year it would be interesting to also solve a problem here, because we have 2,000 participants, I think,
Yes.
with all this knowledge, all these backgrounds, and we don't use it. We only use it to present solutions and get inspired. But what if we would have like 3 problems here that we can solve together during these 3 days? And then we can have a valuable output that people can use again. And so that's one thing. And after the conference for myself, I just will continue doing this to, create it, yeah.
And maybe next year we will have to solve the problem of Donald Trump. What do you think?
I don't know. Let's see how it works out.
Margarete, do you want a final
Yes, you are also a member of EUDEC, the European Democratic Education Community. And what do you think is the outcome for them, and how is it related to the world of democracy? Have you?
For me personally, I'm a member of EUDEC because of my past in the democratic school as a student, and I really think that a democratic education in the school I went to is a solution, and maybe not the solution. You cannot like put it on every country. And I think for me with EUDEC this year, 12 years ago when I went to the democratic school, everybody said I was crazy. And if I would talk to a stranger or if I would talk to someone in my profession, people would say, no, this cannot be true. A democratic school where you have a real say in things, just impossible. And this last year, and it proves here with all these different countries, if we tell our story, people are interested and they want to know more. And it's completely different than 12 years ago. So that's, for me, the most beautiful outcome, that we can talk more about these subjects, democracy and equality in education.
Simone,
Yes.
thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.